Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's short English commentary of a game that was played in 1981. Now, red was Grandmaster Xu Tianhong, and black was Grandmaster Hu Ronghua. Uh, this is a very interesting match, and shows how much trickery there can be on the Xiangqi board. This board, the comments were from Grandmaster Zhang and Master Wenqing's book, Deception and Countermeasures in the Xiangqi opening. So without further ado, let's begin the game. Okay, red was Grandmaster Xu Tianhong, who started with the central cannon opening. And black countered with the screen house defense. Red chose the third pawn advancement variation, and black countered likewise. Red went for the edge horse, and black chose to push his pawn h1 forward to limit the development of this horse. Now all these are considered to be tabia. The 5-7 cannons, and black could move the horse to prevent the chariot from developing and forcing it to be developed as a ranked chariot. And black could consolidate his defense with E3+5. Now this is not so commonly seen. Instead, the opening tabia would be usually P1+1, whereby black would develop his right chariot after trading pawns. And red will continue to protect the pawn. Black would usually play E7+5 instead of E3+5, so as to allow for development of this chariot later as a kingside chariot. And red will prevent that. And this situation is very commonly seen, and both colors would be attacking in a very complicated situation. Now in the match, Grandmaster Ronghua chose to play E3+5, which seems to be his preferred variation in this situation. Now black is prepared to play R1+3 to protect his central pawn if needed. Now red continued with R2+6 to apply pressure on red's left flank. Now this is a correct order of moves. It would be a mistake if red not a mistake, it would not be so ideal if red played R9 equals to 6 now, because black could push the horse forward. Now usually the cannons retreated, and black can be satisfied with this position, whereby black would now be prepared to push P3+1 across the river, etc. to attack. And red will have a close position, while black would have a considerably more space to move his pieces. So this is part of the basic opening theory. Now in this board, black started to deviate from the norm with P1+1. Now usually this would seem that black was forcing his moves. Now there was also the element of deception to this move. Usually R1+3 is played for black to try to protect this very important pawn rank. So red continued, accepted the trade, and black pushed R1+5, and red countered with R9 equals to 4. Now this move is rather uncommon because black had not crossed the horse had not crossed the river. So R9 equals to 4 was an ideal move in this position. Now what about E3+1 to protect the pawn? And red will simply choose to capture the pawn. Now the horse cannot capture the black horse, or red will lose his chariot. Black would have rapidly seized the initiative in this situation. R2 equals to 3 would not be an ideal option either, because black will usually advance his cannon and be prepared to play C equals to 7 to dislodge this chariot. Red will usually continue with E to capture the central pawn, dislodging the chariot. capturing the central cannon, and red will be prepared to apply a fork. But before black can do that, black will simply capture the horse and still threaten this flank. Now black would have been much better in this situation. Hence that is why r9 equals to 4, r9 equals to 4 would be the ideal move in this situation. Red captured the pawn as planned, and because the chariot was already here, red would now advance his horse for attack. Now black would consolidate his defense. Now there is a difference between A4+5 and A6+5. If A6+5 were played, red would charge the horse across the river and be prepared to go for the elbow horse attack, attacking the black chariot. So black would defend in this manner. Again, red would sacrifice his cannon, hoping that he would be able to play r6+4. Of course, black would not allow that, but red would simply go ahead. After trading pieces, you can see that this flank was not very vulnerable. And red is now prepared to go with a7+9 for the elbow horse attack, and red would have a winning position. So that is why a6+5 was not a good idea, because by doing so, the king would not have any escape routes. So that is why a4+5 will be advocated in this situation. And red countered brilliantly, as according to the situation the pawn, by capturing the central pawn. Now, because black had already played a4+5, the threat of an elbow horse attack, as shown when a6+5 were played, would not be present since a4+5 were played, and the king would have an escape route over here. So that is why red adapted to the situation on the board and captured the central pawn, offering a trade of chariots. And red should try to dislodge the black chariot. And black would move his chariot out of harm's way, or the elephant will capture it. Now, at this point in time, the only red piece that crossed the river would be the Red Horse, but this was a very, very powerful horse because it commanded a very important line. That is why post-mortem analysis, or the comments suggested by Master Wenqing and Grandmaster Zhang was that black should have played r7 equals to 8. Now, by doing so, red would not be able to retreat his horse, and the horse would not be able to gallop in black's territory and become a major threat so easily. And with r7+8, this black horse would be protected. And seeing that black advanced the chariot, attempting to attack the central pawn, black retreated his horse in a very brilliant move. Black continued with p3+1, threatening to capture the horse. Black is forced to retreat the chariot to defend. And at this point in time, black played a very nice move of r9 equals to 6 to attack the red chariot. Now, if we were to look at the material strength on the board now, red will have one extra pawn, and if the black cannon were left on the edge file, there would not be any good places for it to move. So that is why black took a risk and played r9 equals to 6. Now, what would happen if, let's say, black tried to attack with h2+1 instead? Black would simply retreat the cannon, and red will go full steam ahead for attack. Again, the horse is protected by the chariot, and this will greatly limit and diminish the potential of the black chariot attacking, and black will now have to deal with the issue of this horse under attack. If it moved away, the red horse would charge across the river and black would be in all sorts of trouble. So R9 equals to 6 was played to prevent the above mentioned situation. And red boldly captured the central elephant, preparing to sacrifice his horse for 2 elephants. A check, and a check, another check. Now this would force the cannons to force black to play c2 equals to 4, and red to take its time to protect the pawn. Now this is a very important move because by doing so, red would not have to worry about black playing h7 equals to 5. If he did, red could counter with c7 equals to 5. And in this situation, black tried to salvage by retreating his cannon. Now this is a relatively stubborn counter. It would be much better than playing c6 plus 3. If c6 plus 3 were played, a possible line would be red advancing his pawn, threatening to go for a check, gain material, consolidating the defense, attacking the horse, threatening to dislodge the black chariot, forcing the only move if possible would be here. Red would take the chance to move his horse. Now, again, black cannot play this move or it will be captured by the elephant. And red would now play c5 equals to 2. Now this is a very good move, as red would now be prepared to play c2 plus 1 to deliver a check and limit the movement of the black horse, or he could play c2 minus 3 to gain material. And red's attack would be fast and furious, and there will be nothing that black can do at this point in time. And black cannot capture the elephant because the horse would now have defended it. So r4 minus 1 was black's attempt at salvaging the situation, and red charged full steam ahead. Now black cannot capture the advisor, or this cannon will capture it. That is why red moved r6 equals to 9, threatening to checkmate. Black moved the king to safety. Black threatened the chariot, the black cannon, and he was prepared to gain material with r9 equals to 2. Black tried to salvage the situation by moving his chariot to the rib file, preparing to attack the advisor, forcing black to defend it for the moment. Again, black would try to mount master and attack, hoping to play c6 equals to 5 and then r4 plus 5 for the checkmate. But red would have none of it and chose to attack in this manner. Now, in the past few rounds, this was the very brilliant move by red. By retreating his cannon as a sacrifice, red would have locked in his win. In the match, black continued with h2 plus 4, hoping to gain some momentum in attack with possibly h4 plus 6. Now, black cannot capture the cannon or he will lose his chariot. So that is why black continued to advance his horse for attack. But it was simply too late, as black could now play a very beautiful h8 plus 7 for attack. This would protect the cannon and also threaten to go for a check to capture the black chariot. Black tried to be offensive, but red would have none of it. And black was forced to move the king. Advanced again, check. and black would claim victory. Perhaps there was too much for black to handle, and that was why black resigned. Short recap. Central cannon, third point advancement, and black will go for the edge horse, 5-7 cannons. So far so good, but black chose to play the E3+5 variation, which is less commonly seen, and red attacked appropriately with R2+6. Black chose to continue to develop his chariot, thinking that he would have controlled this cross riverbank rank, but red countered very appropriately with R9 equals to 4, and black captured the pawn. But this will allow the horse to attack, and this will mark the start of black's demise. Red consolidated his defense correctly with A4+5, and red continued to attack the central pawn. Trade of chariots, dislodging the chariot, and black should have played R7 equals to 8, whether he will still have a playable game. Unfortunately, he advanced his chariot, hoping to capture the pawn, but this would give red a chance to play H5-6, which was a brilliant move, whereby black would now threaten to capture the black horse, forcing black to push the pawn forward, and now the horse would continue galloping with H6+4 to threaten this chariot, forcing it back. Red would capture the pawn, and black tried to offer some defense by playing his cannon in this manner, but red would have none of it and went directly to capture the elephant. Check, check. And another important move by red to protect the pawn, so that if black played R7 equals to 5, red would simply play C7 equals to 5 to protect his cannon. Now black tried to offer some defense in this manner. As mentioned earlier, C6+3 was not a good idea because red would now have a significant winning position. Black continued to grow from strength to strength and advanced his horse for attack. Black tried to attack the chariot, forcing it away, but red would now threaten to go for checkmate. And black threatened the black cannon in this manner. And then the horse attacking the advisor, so red had to protect it. And this was a very brilliant move by red. Black tried to mount an offensive, but red was simply too far ahead. This would seem like a very brilliant move, whereby the black horse was threatening to capture both cannons, but black would simply capture the black cannon, and now red would have the advantage in terms of material. Black tried to move his king to safety, otherwise the cannon could go for a check. Another check, and again black cannot retreat his king, or it will be immediate checkmate with C2+7. And red will claim victory in this manner as black resigned, seeing that there was no point continuing. There will be many attacks possible, so because at this point in time black was targeting the black horse, and this will usually force black to play C4+1. So I hope you like the work that I've been doing. If you do, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep making such commentaries. Thank you, and have a good week ahead.